This is Franklin Marshall with Franklin Marshall Ministries. I'm here with you on day 4 and talking to you about activating God's blessings and my children's book, Richard Allen. Richard Allen, as I've said before, if you haven't heard me say, that he is the founder of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, which is the AME Church, and he was one of the founders of the Underground Railroad. My second book is Activate God's Blessings. And sure enough, we need God's blessings today on ourselves and our nation and our relatives and just anything else. We need God's blessings. And I want to go through the subjects that we are going to cover today. One is about praying for our nation. The second one is writing down our goals in our personal development section. And in the third section, which is talking about outreach, I mention feeding people. And so one of the things that I want to do is I want to talk about prayer, and I want to talk about Daniel and use him as an example to give us some illustrations on how God and the heavens work. Daniel was praying and praying and praying for an answer from God. And ultimately, he was praying and fasting. And in 21 days, at the end of his prayer and fasting period, an angel came to him and told him that he was trying to get to him, but he was fighting over Persia. There was a war going on, and he couldn't make it to Daniel to give him the word until he was able to break through. So our praying and seeking the Lord for any issue related to anything under the sun need to take into consideration the warfare that's going on as we are doing warfare. So there's a team of warriors fighting for us on our behalf in the heavens when we are praying. So I want to encourage you to continue to pray. The section today in prayer says pray for our nation. Our nations need prayer. We have an election coming up. We need to pray that God's blessings would be upon America. And if you're from any other country, pray for your leaders. Pray for that country. Pray for your country, that God's blessings and favor would be with you. In relations to outreach and personal development. Personal development is the second one. And we see in the Bible a lot of times when God spoke to someone, he told them to write it down. And writing it down, it does a lot. Once you write it down, it goes within our subconscious mind. It validates it on a whole different scale when we write it down. It means a lot more to us. The other thing that takes place is when we write it down, it can also be followed up by someone that come behind us and read what we write. And so writing is really important. So write our goals down, make sure you write it down. Make sure it's not just verbalized. The other section is about feeding people. And we see Jesus fed constantly. When people came to listen to him, he was always feeding them. And a lot of them were open to the gospel and accepted the gospel as a result of him feeding them. And we see if we invite people over a lot of times to go out to eat with them, they start talking to us and they open up to us. They start telling us things that we didn't even ask them. So food has a great way of camaraderie. This is Franklin Marshall with Franklin Marshall Ministries. Pray for my Africa trip, my South Africa trip on October 30th. And I look forward to getting back with you tomorrow.